Hello teachers, I'm Mark Richard from Oxford University Press. I will tell you what you need to know to teach Learn English with Dora the Explorer in your classroom. Every unit of Learn English with Dora the Explorer has 8 lessons. In this video, we will look at Lesson 1. Lesson 1 is called Topic and Vocabulary Presentation. Your objectives for Lesson 1 are: introduce the unit topic. In this unit, the topic is my family. Teach the new words. In Level 1, there are 4 new words, and in Levels 2 and 3, there will be 6. And practice listening skills, so that students recognize those new words when they hear them. In Learn English with Dora the Explorer, every lesson follows this simple pattern. Lesson 1 starts with a warm-up, including a hello routine, then proceeds to the student book, then to the activity book, and finally there's a goodbye routine to finish off the lesson with something light and fun. Now, kindergarten students need to feel safe and reassured. The lesson structure is always the same. This provides students with a routine to help them get that reassurance that they need. And soon, both teacher and students will know exactly how the lesson progresses. So that'll mean it'll be quicker to prepare and it'll help you to manage the students more easily. You can warm up any way you want to, but to help you, every unit in Dora has its own simple hello routine to start every lesson. This gives students a comfortable transition into your English lesson. Look in the teacher's guide notes for each unit and you'll see a song and dance routine which usually makes use of Dora's puppets. This is Dora, this is Boots the monkey. Okay, thank you guys. After the quick warm-up comes the main section of the lesson, doing 1 or 2 activities in the student book. Let's see how this works for Lesson 1. Lesson 1. Look at Activity 1. Watch the video. To watch the video, you need to use the classroom presentation tool and click the play icon, or you can use flashcards to teach the vocabulary yourself. Now, if you use the video, here's exactly what you can do and say to your students. First, say, "It's video time," and then get your students to sit somewhere comfortable in front of the screen. After that, say, "Watch and listen." Now, you're going to play the video. In the video, the storyteller will introduce the unit topic. Next, he will repeat the vocabulary several times for each word. And at the end, he will finally review all of the key vocabulary together. So you'll play this video a few times, and as children get more familiar with it, they can clap or chant with the language and start to say the words that they hear if they're comfortable with that. You know, the storyteller is doing all of the work for you. We want to make teaching with Dora effortless and fun for teachers. But if you want, you can use the flashcards instead to show the words and say them yourself. Finally, once you've watched the video, you can do a vocabulary activity. For each lesson, the teacher's guide gives you lesson notes and tells you specific vocabulary games you can play which work perfectly with the words from that lesson. But here's an easy vocabulary activity which works for any topic and any vocabulary lesson. Let's take a look. It's called Listen and Touch the Flashcards. So first, you're going to take your flashcards and you're going to tape them to the wall so your class will look a bit like a gallery. Make sure that there's plenty of space between each card. Then get your students to say, "Who is it?" Then the teacher will say one of the vocabulary items, for example, "Daddy." And then your students will walk to that vocabulary card and touch it and say, "Daddy." Now keep going with another word and make it faster and faster so the excitement builds up. And for extra variation, instead of walking, get your students to jump to the next flashcard or hop to it. In Activity 2, students practice listening carefully to the audio track and identifying which new words they hear. Here's what you can say and do to help them. First, describe the big picture. This is a chance for you to talk naturally and expose your students to spoken English. For example, "Oh, look at Dora's daddy. He's sitting on the bed. He's holding a baby," and say anything you want to describe that picture. Then say, "Look at the 4 pictures." Step 2, say, "Listen and point," and play the audio. When students hear, for example, "sister," they will point to the picture of sister. Step 3, play the audio track again. This time say, "Listen, point, and say." So your students will listen, and if they hear sister, they point to sister, but then they repeat sister to practice the pronunciation, to practice speaking the word. Step 4, say, "Look at the big picture. Find daddy, find mommy," and so on. So you'll play a different audio track here, and you can pause after you hear "find mommy" and show the students, "Oh, mommy in the big picture." Okay? And then students know what to do, and they can listen to the rest of the track, and when they hear "find brother," they will look for brother in the big picture. Where is he? Here he is. Now we've finished the student book activities, and we move on to the activity book. The student book and activity book work together and match each other lesson for lesson. The lesson number is noted at the bottom of the page in both books, so you can't get lost. It's super easy to move between the two. The activity book's lesson 1 will always practice the new unit vocabulary. The activities often develop students' fine motor skills by matching or tracing and coloring. Here, students will trace and color the picture. Now, if you want, you could just give your students a bunch of crayons and let them color in the pictures as they like. However, from my experience, I can tell you that some of your students will finish really quickly and others will take ages just to get started. So let me tell you about the Teacher's Guide notes, which will help you to teach this page in a more structured manner and keep your students moving forward together. To keep your class all moving forward through this lesson together, the key tip is to break activities down into small stages. Show and do each stage one at a time, like this. So number 1, say, "Trace mommy's head with your fingers," and show the students. And in their books, students will trace mommy's head with their fingers. Next, move on to daddy. The teacher says, "Trace daddy's head with your fingers." And the students trace daddy's head with their fingers, and so on with brother and sister. Next, you can say, "Trace mommy's head with your pencil," and show the students to pick up a pencil and use it to trace mommy's head. So now, if the teacher says, "Trace daddy's head with a pencil," the students trace daddy's head with a pencil. So we're very gradually moving through the lesson, but all students are staying on track, just doing one little task at a time. And that way, by breaking the task into small stages, your students will all stay on track. They'll all know what to do. And also this incorporates much more English listening practice, listening to the teacher's instructions, into the task. And finally, students can take out their crayons and color the pictures any way they like. After you've finished the activity book, the Teacher's Guide gives you an optional extra activity to reinforce the lesson vocabulary. But here's an optional extra activity which is quick and reinforces any kind of vocabulary. Now, it's exactly the same as the activity from earlier in this video, except instead of listening to the teacher say a word like daddy, the students will watch the teacher's mouth very carefully as the teacher silently mouths it. So, all the steps are the same as the earlier activity from this video, but instead of saying mommy, the teacher will do this. Now the students will all watch your mouth like a hawk, and then they will have to think, oh, mommy, walk up to that card and touch the mommy vocabulary card and say mommy. So this is a great way of getting the students to focus on mouth shape, how you make the right sounds in English. You'll see students copying your mouth movements. Fantastic practice for enunciation. At the end of the lesson, the Teacher's Guide lesson notes provide the unit goodbye routine. These often use Dora's goodbye song and tell you how to get your students singing and dancing, often using our Boots and Dora puppets to put on a bit of a show. So well done! We've completed our first lesson 1 from a unit of Learn English with Dora the Explorer. And as Dora would say to encourage the students, we did it. And remember, we didn't just get through a lesson, we achieved our lesson objectives. We introduced the unit topic, we taught those new words, and we practiced listening skills. We want you to enjoy teaching with Dora effortlessly. So Dora comes with lots of support for teachers. You can have fun in class with the Dora and Boots puppets. These are very useful for warm-up hello and warm-down goodbye routines. The flashcards help to introduce and reinforce vocabulary. And as you'll see later in the unit, the story cards help children to understand the story. And on the back, there are even suggested questions you can ask students, and it has the audio script too to make your life much easier. And how do you know how to use all of these resources? Well, the Teacher's Guide has all of the ideas and tips and step-by-step teaching notes for every lesson to help you prepare quickly and make the most of this wonderful course. Thank you for watching this video for Lesson 1 of Learn English with Dora the Explorer. Please check out our videos to help you teach other lessons in a unit. Everyone, enjoy your teaching.
We did it! We did it!